runners on base yesterday, so they have to get the rest of that lineup to start producing.
First pitch from Aaliyah Binford, misses low and away. We're off and running for game 2 in Oxford. Thanks for being with us. As Aaliyah Binford, in her 6th season of college softball, spent 5 years at Baylor.
Con vừa gửi tiền mũ rồi.
Once again faced these
Con bảo
Florida
mẹ con gửi
Gators
tiền mũ rồi, mẹ con này
in
sẽ
a
con gửi
super
à?
regional last year, pitched
Con chuyển
twice.
khoản đây rồi.
In game 1 of the series that went 3 games, she took the loss in 4
Mẹ
innings
ơi,
of
bà
work,
ơi.
allowed 4 earned runs. Tossed 108 pitches, too, as she faces Kendra Falby. Binford came in to relieve her starter in game 3 of the series against Florida in that super regional. Pitched masterfully. 4 2/3, allowed just 1 run, kept her team in it. But it was Florida, obviously, who won that series against Baylor, went on to OKC, and finished in the Women's College World Series semifinals. Falby yesterday was 4 for 4. An immaculate evening for
Đi con
Falby.
xuống. 10 phút rồi con xuống.
Takes the walk. It's kind of how Falby started yesterday.
Yeah, just not the way you want to start if you're Ole Miss, allowing Falby to get on base. Now, 45-game streak of getting on base.
That dates back to last season. Unbelievable.
She is just so talented.
Keep an eye on her on the base paths, too. She has 115 stolen bases. Falby, that's second all time at Florida. And here she is on the move. Throw down is in time. Just the 3rd time this season Falby's been gunned down.
Well, and it had to take a perfect throw from Lexi Brady, and she does a great job throwing from her knees on line, being able to get the speedy Falby.
Jocelyn Erickson took strike 1.
That's a big out for Ole Miss.
That's the 4th runner, too, that Lexi Brady has caught stealing this season. Erickson takes strike 2. Coming off an unbelievable sophomore season, Erickson, where she was named NFCA Division I Player of the Year, 2nd Gator ever to win the award. She laces this out to right, down for a base hit to the wall. She's thinking 2. The throw from McKay is not in time. One out double for Jocelyn Erickson. Her 9th double this year.
Maybe Tim Walton knew what he was doing when he moved her up into that 2-hole. She gets this changeup from Binford and just drives it out to right center field. Jamie McKay right on top of it, but just not enough time to be able to get Erickson at second base.
Erickson was 0 for 2 last night against Ole Miss. She walked twice. Also had a strikeout and a pop-out, so that's her first hit of the series. And she gives way to her talented freshman teammate, Taylor Shoemaker. From Fullerton, California, 0 for 5 last night.
Well, I just have to say, Jake, that's a huge caught stealing there, because that scores a run for Florida if Lexi Brady doesn't throw out Kendra Falby at second base.
Fly ball, left side. Jaden Pone makes the catch. 2 away for Florida in this first inning. Now Corby Otis steps up from Littleton, Colorado. In her 4th season of playing softball, her 2nd year at Florida. Unanimous first-team All-American last year. I feel like a broken record saying that.
Well, I mean, it is what it is.
It's in there at 68. Otis comes into today on a 5-game hit streak and a hit in 7 of her last 8 games. She's 9 for 18 at the plate in her last 8 games now.
Well, last night she was 3 for 4 with 4 RBIs, so she's getting the job done in that 4-hole for the Gators.
Just a bulldog at the plate. Back to Binford. Easy for the pitcher. Florida leaves one stranded, but this inning is behind the plate. Malvin bounces this down the third base line. Fair ball. She continues to stay hot against the Gators, her 4th hit of the series.
Yeah, just a great job by Malvin, putting it right down the line past Kenley Cahalan for a leadoff single. Otis does a great job of getting that ball in quickly, or Malvin could have had a double.
And Taylor Malvin continues to produce and have her best season of her career. And it looks like Tim Walton's going to take a look at this. Or I should say Tim Walton wants the officiating crew to take a look at this to see if that was fair or foul down the third base line. It was close. Here's our first look at it. What do we think, Missy? It's got to be...
Oh, it looks like it hits the chalk in front of the bag, but
it has to be...
It has to go over the bag for it to be fair.
This is Hawkeye right here, and poor Kenley Cahalan's in front of where the ball hits.
After review, the call on the field is upheld. It's Florida's first down.
You know, I think that Hawkeye camera would have been really good, but Cahalan was covering up where the ball hit the chalk.
But it didn't matter because it had to go over the bag, and we had a clear view of the bag.
Okay.
And I think it just barely went over the front corner of the bag.
That review didn't take long. Florida now with one challenge remaining, and Jaden Pone steps up for Ole Miss. Not many batters in this lineup are hotter than Jaden Pone right now. In her 4th season of college softball, hitting .384 this year. With 38 hits in her 2nd season at Ole Miss and playing in the SEC. She's on a 6-game hitting streak. High chopper, there's Cahalan. Plants the back foot, but has no play. Cahalan's been busy already in this 1st inning. We mentioned Tim Walton, he's in his 20th season. He's very proud of his team's fight last night, 8-7 win for the Gators. Not many one-run games in SEC play for Florida. They're now 2-1 in one-run games in SEC play. They've run-ruled a pair of opponents too in conference play. 2 national titles. They went back-to-back too. Lexi Brady checked, she went around. Ole Miss's most feared power hitter, 14 homers, 1 away from Dee Justice's 15 that she hit in 2003. Brady's quickly down in the count, 0-2.
Well, Brady struggled last night in the game. She was 0 for 4.
And an oopsie from Florida's defense. A run comes in. Jaden Pone's trying to come home. She's safe. The defensive miscue from Florida leads to 2 runs for Ole Miss.
Well, we saw it yesterday in the 1st inning. Florida had that mistake that gave Ole Miss 3 runs. Today we see a mistake, a lack of communication between Holter and Williams. The ball ends up down the first baseline, allowing Jaden Pone to come around and score.
Shades of last night too for Ole Miss in the 1st inning. They took advantage of some Florida mistakes and scored some runs off those mistakes.
Well, this is what we talked about, is that Ava Brown pitches to contact, and right now Florida is not supporting her defensively.
Percy Yamas down in the count, 0-2. Florida had 2 errors yesterday, and again, like we mentioned, one of those errors leading the runs last night in that first inning for Ole Miss. And Yamas drives it foul. 1-2. Yamas was 3 for 4 yesterday. I thought she had 4 hits yesterday, but they changed one of her hits to a fielder's choice. It was first ruled a single. They flipped it back to a fielder's choice.
Yeah, but even still, she was on fire at the plate yesterday.
She's one of the toughest to strike out as well in the SEC.
She did have those 3 strikeouts last weekend against South Carolina, and it was really upsetting to her. So, she's going to try and not let that happen again.
Chops it to second base. A tag from Williams bounces it to first, and Walsh unable to scoop it out of the dirt. However, Lexi Brady's retired on the base pass, and Yamas is on board with another fielder's choice in this series. So Leah Binford steps up with the chance to help her own cause. The pitcher inside the circle for Ole Miss. Again, 2 runs across for Ole Miss on a defensive mishap for Florida.
Binford was 1 for 4 last night with 1 RBI, and you're right, Jake. It was a perfect opportunity for her to be able to help herself with only 1 out.
In the air to right, and Shoemaker makes the catch, 2 away. And Binford, back in the Super Regional last year, we talked about her pitching against Florida, but she also hit really well in that 3-game series too. She was 3 for 3 in Game 1. She was responsible for all of Baylor's runs, solo home run and an RBI single in Game 1. Brings up Mackenzie Pickens. She too flies it out to right. Shoemaker makes the catch, and Ole Miss off another Florida error scores 2 runs. Gators grab the bats when we come back. All-American track and field athlete, also USA Olympic team qualifier in javelin. Her dad Jason, 12-year NBA veteran. Here's the 1-2. In fact, her dad actually spent some time early in his career in Memphis. Jason was well known actually for visiting St. Jude's Children's Hospital a lot in Memphis in his time here with the Grizzlies.
Wow, that's great.
Memphis only an hour or so north of Oxford. 3-2. But we all know mom's the star. Always.
Moms are always the star.
Moms are always the star. Ball 4. Or I guess that got a piece of Williams.
Yeah, I think it was a hit by pitch.
Either way, Williams is aboard first base. So now back-to-back innings for Florida with the leadoff runner aboard.
And you really want to limit that. I mean, you can't, we've talked about this numerous times over the season, you can't defend free passes.
That was Jamie Traxel's key to taking this series against the Gators. Limit the free passes, limit the crooked innings. And what did Florida do well yesterday? Get free passes for themselves and put up some crooked innings.
Absolutely.
Walsh came into the series having homered in her last 3 games. Didn't homer last night against Ole Miss. However, she went 1 for 4. Second time this year she's strung a home run together in 3 games. Yikes. Florida has 1 hit today and now 4 base runners.
Yeah, this ball just gets away from Binford. Gets Walsh on the inside of the back leg, on the calf it looked like.
Here comes Nancy Evans for Ole Miss in her first season as the pitching coach for the Rebels. Won 3 national championships in her playing career at Arizona in the mid to late 90s. She's was also on staff at UIC last year as their pitching coach. Helped the team to a 3.43 team ERA, its best mark since 2018. Now she's in Oxford. Players love her.
Oh, absolutely.
I think when a national champion says something to you that you need to make this adjustment, you should probably do this. It's going to make your kids listen to you a little more.
I spoke with her last night for a little bit, and also with Wachenio's mother, and it was just funny, the interaction between the two.
Kenley Cahalan steps in, and a big spot here with Florida down 2, nobody out. Back-to-back free passes for the Gators for the 325 hitter. Thought about it, laid off, nothing in 1. She had 2 walks last night. Check swing and fouls it off. Nothing in 2. It's one of those where you're thinking in your mind, please go foul.
Right.
Please go foul.
If you're Ole Miss, absolutely.
This is the edge. Aaliyah Binford is second on Ole Miss in innings pitched and second in strikeouts. Named the best two-way player in the nation by D1 Softball in the preseason. That was an honor that stunned her. Runners on the move from second to third, and safe. Mia Williams hustles into third. Now runners on the corners for the Gators.
Well, that's what Florida does, and they put pressure on this defense, and any mistakes that you make, like that pass ball right there from Lexi Brady, they're moving. See her running from second to third. Her feet are always moving.
Did you see her slide too? She didn't slide straight into the bag. She kind of slid around it and reached. I think that was key too to avoiding the tag from De Leon.
Oh, absolutely. You want to do whatever you can to avoid the tag, and she slid to the back side of the bag, which helped her be safe at third base. It's just game IQ, and Florida has an extreme game IQ.
Credit that to coaching.
Oh, absolutely.
It's the reason why Tim Walton's Gators have been to the Women's College World Series 5 of the last 7 years. Long drive, right center. Cahalan gives Florida the lead.
Oh, we talked about Florida's offense. Here, Cahalan takes that offering from Binford and just drives it over the right center field fence. You have to be so careful. Any misses, and Florida is going to take advantage of those opportunities.
40% of Florida's offense have come from home runs this year. And Gabby Comilla tried to lay one down. The Gators team that leads the SEC and is third in the nation in home runs. And also, Missy, a Gators team that, after their 2 homers last night, have had 2 home runs or more in 4 straight games. This is the SEC, too, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, this is what you expect to see out of an SEC, a top-tier SEC team.
Back to Binford. That's out number 1. And we talked about the free passes. To begin this inning, Binford hits 2 Florida Gators, and then the home run comes.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if she doesn't hit those 2 batters for Florida, then that's a 1-run game instead of a 3-2 game.
Solo home runs are solo home runs.
That's right.
You have to eat those, but you'll take the solo home run over the 3-run bomb.
Oh, absolutely. But again, that's where those free passes come in, and you can't defend free passes. Fortunately for Ole Miss, in the first inning, they were able to throw out Kendra Falby.
Yeah, Falby was caught stealing to begin the first inning, and then Jocelyn Erickson doubled immediately after that. 2 strikes quickly to Riley Holtorf. In her first season with Florida, transfer from Washington. She's from Arizona. 3-time NFCA All-Pacific Region honoree at UW. She was 2 for 3 last night, scored 3 times, singled in the 4-run third inning for the Gators, and also scored the go-ahead run in the 5th inning for Florida. And that 8-7 Gators win. Slowly chopped to Ryan Starr, the shortstop, off balance. Gets her for out number 2. That's her specialty. When she's got a glove in her hand, Ryan Starr is one of the best in the country.
Oh, absolutely. And this is a slow roller off Holtorf's bat. So she has to really charge it and throw on the run to try and get Holtorf out at first base. A great job of attacking the ball by Ryan Starr.
All Jamie Traxel needed to see when she saw Ryan Starr in the transfer portal was her defensive highlights at Syracuse. And Starr now in her second season with Ole Miss. Kendra Falby, who walked back in the first inning, is up with 2 outs. New life for Florida after the 3-run home run by Kenley Cahalan, her 10th homer this year. I believe that was Cahalan's first 3-run homer this year. 8th total for the Gators. 3-0 count to Falby. Falby's second all-time in Florida history with 312 career hits. She's chasing Kelsey Stewart's 357. 5th all-time in runs scored. And also, she hit her 11th triple last night in her career. That's 6th all-time now in Florida history. Someone's rewriting the record books. Ball 4. 4 free passes in 2 innings for Aaliyah Binford.
Well, and that was one of the keys for Jamie Traxel, and the success out in the circle for Ole Miss is limiting free passes.
Jocelyn Erickson doubled in her last at-bat, takes a strike. You can't give a Florida team free passes.
No. I mean, we see what happened with the 3-run home run by Cahalan.
Ole Miss gave Florida 6 free passes last night. 3 of them came around to score. If you're Tim Walton, you'll take that percentage any day.
Oh, I mean, absolutely. Who wouldn't? I don't know any coach that wouldn't take that.
Erickson lets it be. The junior in her second year at Florida began her career at Oklahoma, a career .355 hitter. Wow. She ropes this into right. It's gone!
Hit by Jocelyn Erickson. She's making up for her offer last night.
I cannot believe the speed at which that got out of here.
I know, wouldn't you love to know the exit velo on that?
5-2 Florida, 2 homers in this second inning. The Gators are on top. Erickson's 12th of the season, the 34th in her career. Shoemaker at the plate, she can do the exact same thing. She has 14 homers this year. In fact, that's tied for the third most by a freshman in Florida history. She also has 58 RBIs this year, third most by a freshman in a single season at Florida.
Well, she came in hot, but Ole Miss has handled Schumacher so far this weekend.
Shoemaker second in the SEC in homers, first in runs scored, third in the conference, 2 in RBIs, all in her first year of softball. Pops up behind home plate. Brady makes the catch. Okay, it didn't hit the net on the way down. And Florida's not contesting that either. 2 home runs this inning for Florida. 5-2 lead for the Gators. The first one from Cahalan. And look at this missile. So Rachel Connors steps in, the DP today for Ole Miss. This is her first SEC start. The freshman from Chandler, Arizona. Connors came in to pinch hit last night.
Had that controversial ball that went foul that was challenged and overturned. Was awarded a fair ball, and then head coach Tim Walton challenged it. Turned out to be a foul ball, came back up and hit that line shot out to Falby in center field.
Loops this the other way, sinking fast, and it dips down for Connors' first SEC hit in her young career. And her third hit of her freshman career. Third hit this afternoon for Ole Miss. Rebels trying to respond after allowing a 5 spot back in the second inning. Or I should say in the top half of this second inning. Angelina De Leon hitting 9th for Ole Miss. Ava Brown hit last night for Florida, now in the circle today. 2-time Texas Gatorade Player of the Year in her prep career. De Leon skies this out to right. Shoemaker makes the catch. And Brown had a stellar freshman season at Florida last year. NFCA All-Southeast Region second teamer, second team All-SEC honoree. And now she faces Taylor Malvin, who has 4 hits in this series against the Gators. Without a doubt, Taylor Malvin's best weekend of conference play.
Oh, absolutely. Led off the game today with a single. Yesterday had a great day, multi-hit game.
Yeah, she had 3 hits yesterday. In fact, Taylor Malvin came into today with just 4 total hits in conference play.
Oh, what better way to start it than against Florida?
Ole Miss looking to even the series today, but Malvin's down in the count 1-2. She's loved the left side of the field as well.
Almost deja vu. She hit the ball down the left field line just over the bag in her first at bat.
Had 3 hits last night. There she is again, third base side. Cahalan gloves it and throws out Malvin for out number 3. Ole Miss strands 1. They're down 3 to Florida for in break. Jamie Traxel wanted to challenge the previous play. And right now we are in a review in Oxford. We're going to get our answer here.
After review, the call on the field is changed to a foul ball. We have a 1 ball, 2-strike count. That's Ole Miss's first challenge.
So welcome back to the bottom half of the second inning.
Good challenge by head coach Jamie Traxel.
So Taylor Malvin stays alive. Cahalan fielded that in foul grounds.
Just off the line.
Yeah. Looked fair. It looked fair from up here.
Yeah, she takes a step in, and that ball's still in fair territory and gets the out. Now you're giving Malvin another chance.
Nothing like sending it to break, coming back in the same inning. But it was odd because everybody came off the field. In fact, Florida, even some of the players were back in their dugout. High chopper, there's Cahalan. This one's definitely fair, and she definitely makes the play there. So if you're scoring at home, keep that 5-3 put out in Taylor Malvin's box. Now we go to the third, and Oxford. Behind her, who's now on deck, was also hit by a pitch. That led to a Kenley Cahalan 3-run shot. Jocelyn Erickson homered later in the second. Ole Miss took a 2-0 lead back in the first. Williams finds the right side gap. Her 49th hit this year. She's a sophomore, and in her freshman year, Missy, she had just 18 hits in 65 games.
Yeah, but she is right now 4 for 6 on the weekend.
Fantastic weekend. She may not want to leave Oxford, although Tim Walton's going to make her hop back on that plane back to Gainesville. Reagan Walsh steps up. Hit by a pitch, also scored in the second. Walsh has 45 home runs in her career at Florida. That's 5th all time. 12 this year. Also 3 RBIs from tying 3rd most career ribbies at Florida. She's chasing Megan Bush's 217. I find it fascinating that Walsh has 218 career hits, Missy, and 214 career RBIs. She's just a ribby machine.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of talk about All-Americans when it comes to Florida. A lot of talk about who's where in the record books. Called strike 3. Binford gets Walsh looking. First strikeout for Binford today. 56 for her this season.
A big strikeout for Aaliyah Binford. Just pulls the string and freezes Walsh at the plate.
Faces Kenley Cahalan, who had the 3-run shot back in the second. On the ground to third. De Leon plays the hop for out number 3. So Florida strands 1. However, the Gators lead by 3. Who's in the top 25? LSU, who's in the top 5. Doesn't get easier from there. Jane Pone safely reaches first. Her bouncer got by Cahalan and the backhand of Holtorf. And Jane Pone reaches first for a second time today. And she's given this the hit.
Oh, absolutely. She found the hole on the left side of the field. And even though I think Cahalan could possibly have gotten it, just too much speed for Pone.
Jane Pone now has 5 multi-hit games in her last 7. That brings up Lexi Brady. Reached on an error back in the first inning, and that scored Ole Miss's only 2 runs of the game. 0 for 4 yesterday against Florida. In fact, she reached on an error in the first inning yesterday, too. She was 1 for 10 against South Carolina last weekend. Going through a bit of a skid at the plate in SEC play. She wanted that one, strike 3.
The Florida pitchers have definitely had Lexi Brady's number these last 2 games. Here, Brown pulls the string. Lexi Brady swings right through it.
Just the 14th time this year Lexi Brady has struck out. She struck out 47 times last year and has cut that down by a lot in her final year as an Ole Miss Rebel.
You know, Lexi Brady has been hitting in the 6 hole for Ole Miss. It makes you wonder if, or 5th hole, I'm sorry. Makes you wonder if that's kind of messed with her this weekend, because that's where she's had all her success.
Yamas is retired. Now Leah Binford steps up. And Yamas is now 0 for 2. Binford, she lined out to right field her last time up. Ava Brown really settling in since allowing 2 runs back in the first. And again, a defensive miscue happened yesterday in the first inning for Florida. On a line to left, right at Otis. The name of the afternoon for Ole Miss so far. Hard hit balls just right at the 8-9-1 batters due up for Florida this inning. And Comia wanted to lay one down. Got a piece of it foul. 0-1. Bounced one back to Binford in her last time up. Comia, the freshman. This is her 29th game and 17th start. She goes back to Binford again. Out number 1. I was just about to bring up the fact that she's a freshman behind and playing with a ton of talented softball players. And she's found a way to work herself into the lineup this year.
Well, today for sure.
Yeah.
We didn't see her yesterday or last night in the game, but today head coach Tim Walton giving her a shot, both times hitting back to Aaliyah Binford in the circle.
Riley Holtorf takes strike 1. Grounded out to shortstop her last time up. Now she chops one to De Leon. 2 away.
This is the first time all game that Ole Miss has been able to get the first 2 batters. Now they have the tough task of facing Kendra Falby.
I was going to say, it doesn't get any easier. Falby's walked twice this afternoon, but was 4 for 4 last night. It was her second 4-hit game this season, and 4 hits against Iowa State. Also had the 2 RBI triple last night that tied the game 3-3 back in the 2nd inning. I mean, she's hitting .464. That's just unbelievable.
If you don't get her out, can't lower her batting average, right?
She's also one of the toughest to strike out in the SEC, too. She's averaging 1 strikeout every nearly 23 at-bats. 6 total this year. Serves it into center, right in front of Malvin. Falby's first hit today, her 66th on the season. 5 hits this weekend.
5 for 5 this weekend. She just takes this ball and laces it right back up the middle for a line drive single. 5 for 5 on the weekend. There's a reason she's batting .468.
Jocelyn Erickson steps up. She's 2 for 2 today, a double and a 2-run home run. If there are any young softball players out there watching Missy, what do they need to do to become the next Kendra Falby, you think? What skills do they need to learn?
Well, for one, it's limited because her speed helps her a lot. And so it just makes her a very versatile threat at the plate. I mean, she can do it all from the left side. Bunt, slap, hit for power. And her speed is just sets her apart.
Work on those ladder drills, kids.
Yep.
2-1 to Erickson. Just like Falby, really good, just in a different way. Comes with a little more power.
Yeah, just a little.
She's 12 homers this year.
I think the home run she hit last time, there is a hole in the tree out in right field.
Strike two. It was the lowest home run I've ever seen.
I mean, it barely cleared the wall out in right field. It was laced. I mean, just a rocket.
Barely cleared the wall, but well exceeded beyond it. It was ball four.
For all the technology that we have, it's too bad that we couldn't have her exit velo on that swing.
Third walk of the day for Aaliyah Binford. She's hit two batters too. She gave Florida 3 free passes in the second, all came around to score off 2 home runs.
We see that Ole Miss playing the shift. Ryan Starr almost playing directly behind second base. Angelina De Leon in the 5-6 hole. Oh, it looks like they're anticipating her to pull Aaliyah Binford.
Shoemaker's 0 for 2 today. Check swing, foul.
Oh for 2 today, 0 for 5 yesterday. Really done a good job of shutting her down, especially with all the production that she's had. She came in leading the SEC in runs scored and third in RBIs. 50% of her hits have been for extra bases.
Strike two. Yes, she finished February hitting over 500. In fact, she was NFCA Freshman of the Week on February the 11th for her amazing start to her career. Drives it to left, sinks in front of Jaden Bone. Run is in for Florida. 6-2 Gators.
Shoemaker finally coming through for the Gators with this flare out to left field, scoring the speedy Falby from second base. It's a good bit of hitting.
Shoemaker's 59th RBI, now second most by a freshman in Gators history. Ties Brittany Schute's 59 back in 2010. Now it's Corby Otis at the plate, 0 for 2, with the opportunity to add more here for Florida.
Otis has grounded out both times to Aaliyah Binford.
For Binford today, Missy Wright, just been a mixture of free passes and Florida taking advantage of those free passes.
That's the key, is that, you know, whether it's been a hit by pitch or a walk, that's been kind of the detriment for Binford today.
Binford wanted that one too.
That looked like a pretty pitch. A changeup. Maybe the home plate umpire got fooled too. You know, and that's one of the frustrating things for a pitcher is, you know, getting calls that are there or close, it's frustrating because you don't want to have to pitch it right over the plate, especially against an offensive, powerhouse like Florida.
Now bases are loaded. For the red-hot Mia Williams. And you really have to take Williams seriously at the plate. With already 2 homers in this series, she's singled in her last at bat.
She's 4 for 5 on the weekend. And, but again, you have to take every one of these hitters for Florida seriously. And it's all about hitting your spots. But if you're having to fight not only the zone, but also the umpires, then that doesn't help the situation either.
Williams now has 15 homers after last night. These are no doubters. Out to left, that's the first one. And the second one went even further. As Williams takes low for ball 1. She had 6 homers a year ago, her freshman year. She only hit 164 last year. As a freshman, worked her way into the starting lineup. It's a strike, 1-1.
Those are back-to-back off-speed pitches by Aaliyah Binford. The first one bounced in. This one called for a strike.
Binford needs just one more to get out of this bases-loaded mess. 2 singles for Florida and 2 walks. 1 run across this inning. Got her swinging. It could have been a lot worse for Ole Miss. Some would think that they're lucky to be only down by 4 right now. Kenzie Pickens leads things off for Ole Miss. Jamie McKay's on deck and Rachel Connors in the hole. Pickens was 0 for 3 against Florida yesterday. 2 flyouts, 1 ground out. And 0 for 1 to start this game. Pickens, though, last night nearly left the yard in her first at bat. She flied out right at the left field wall.
Yeah, Corby Otis had to make a great play on it on the warning track.
Pickens is ahead 3-1. Ava Brown back in the circle for another inning of work, getting the start today. Allowed those 2 runs back in the second. They were unearned. And she walks Pickens to begin this 4th.
This is Ava Brown's first free pass of the day. She's really been solid in the circle for the Gators.
Yeah, in SEC play, Brown hasn't walked a ton of batters. In fact, the amount of walks that she's allowed in conference play is the 13th best in the SEC. So if she gives you a free pass, Missy, you got to take advantage.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Jamie McKay in the game today. This is her second at bat. She's playing out in right field.
When we've talked about Ava Brown pitching to contact, she's only has 1 strikeout today, but her defense has let her down in that first inning, like you said, where those 2 runs scored for Ole Miss.
And Ole Miss has had some hard hit balls, just right at defenders.
Absolutely.
That can be aggravating if you're
an Ole Miss Rebel.
Yeah. 1-2. McKay on the ground to short. Holtorf takes it herself, throws wide to first. Oh, Walsh's foot's on the bag. Double play. A web gem.
What a great play by Holtorf. Takes the bag herself, makes the throw over to first base. Reagan Walsh does a great job of keeping her foot on the bag and making the catch for the 6 unassisted to 3 double play.
I love that Walsh dove out, kept her foot on the bag. Wow.
That is so hard to do as well.
Rachel Connors at the plate takes 2 quick strikes from Ava Brown. Singled back in the 2nd inning and was stranded there. Connors getting her first start in SEC play today. Just her 3rd hit of the season back in the 2nd. Smart to lay off that one.
Well, Ava Brown's ahead in the count, so you can work the zone a little bit. Throwing the pitches off the plate, trying to get Connors to bite.
Bites there on the inside pitch.
Support for these student athletes than there's ever been with mental health therapy, the physical therapy, just everything that goes along with being a student athlete. People just don't realize how intense it really is.
Reagan Walsh bounces it foul. Ole Miss trying to even the series up after dropping game 1 last night 8-7. Ole Miss is now 2-2 in 1-run games in SEC play. Reagan Walsh goes down swinging.
Just a great job. Looks like a drop ball from Benford on the inside part of the plate. You can see Walsh pulling her head out. Just swings over the top of that. That is Benford's 3rd strikeout of the game.
A flare to left. Dips down for a base hit for Cahalan. 2-hit day now for Kenley Cahalan.
First pitch swinging for Cahalan. She is 2 for 3 on the day.
Now 12 multi-hit games for Cahalan. She had that 3-run home run back in the 2nd. Now gives way to Gabby Comia. 0 for 2 today. So that double play last inning, we stand corrected. It was Comia at shortstop. She came in to play short for Holtorf. So now Comia is the shortstop. Holtorf's the DP.
Oh, we have to give Comia a lot of credit. That's a great play for a freshman to make.
So Gabby, publicly, we are sorry.
Yes, we are.
For giving the credit to Riley. Now she'll look to come up on the offensive end. Chops it to first. Yamas. Ole Miss gets 1. And now it's Holtorf at the plate. Now the DP got the start at shortstop today. She was hitting .250 in conference play coming into the series, Holtorf. Then after her 2 for 3 game last night, her batting average in conference play misses up to .294.
Wow.
What 2 hits in a game could do to your average sometimes in this game.
Absolutely. Two for 3 with a walk and 3 runs scored. I'd say she had a good day last night. Today she's grounded out both times, once to third and once to short, looking to get her first hit of the game.
Look out. Almost took out Tim Walton at third. He doesn't seem phased though.
No. Been doing it too long.
That's true. He's had a lot more closer calls in his career than that, for sure. And Binford, what happened there? She says, that's on me.
Just would be classified as an illegal pitch.
And our umpires get together to talk about it.
It should be a ball on the batter. It should be, I'm assuming, similar to an illegal pitch. I think they're discussing as to whether the runner should go back to first.
Here's what they're talking about.
I don't know if she just froze or what, but regardless, the discussion now, I believe, is with Comia taking second base and going back to first.
Is it because of her intent to already move towards second base?
Well, I'm not sure if, I mean, the home plate umpire held out his hand, so I'm not sure if they're calling it a dead ball or what the case may be. Hopefully after they finish talking to Tim Walton, we'll get a explanation.
It's Lyndon Baptiste chatting with Coach Walton. And now Jamie Traxel will get her explanation from Baptiste. Florida's already used to long reviews. There was a 30-minute one in the Arkansas series last weekend. I don't think this is going to go 30 minutes, but and this isn't a review, but it's a conversation. And Baptiste just signaled out. Or am I crazy? Because I'm also just a tad bit crazy, Missy, so...
Well, I'm really confused on what's going on here. So that would be the third out. So I'm assuming that they're calling her out. Oh, here we go.
We had two infractions on the play. We had an illegal pitch and leaving early. The offense chose the result that they wanted, and the defense chose the penalty for the runner leaving early, so that we have an out.
All right, there's your explanation. And Ole Miss will grab the bats when we come back, and Florida...
Umpire until after the play had transpired.
Interesting.
I've never seen that happen before. So, you know, for whatever reason, Aaliyah Binford had an oopsie out in the circle, never released the ball, stopped her pitch, and Comia, expecting the ball to be released from Binford's hand, left when she thought she was supposed to, and gets called out for leaving early.
It's just
That's tough. Yeah, it's a tough break.
It's tough luck. Star Ferguson's pinch hitting for Ole Miss to begin the bottom half of the fifth inning. Yeah, it's one of those, I mean, even as a head coach, you tell Comia, hey, there's nothing you could do there. I mean, it's...
Oh, yeah.
Don't hang your head on that at all. Ferguson, the Texas A&M transfer.
I mean, like I said, I've never seen that before. So we all got educated today.
Popped up, Third base bag and caught by Comia. The communication between Cahalan and Comia, that could have ended poorly for the Gators if the communication wasn't on point like that, like we just saw there.
Oh, absolutely, and it could have been a collision and an error on somebody having the ball drop, but fortunately Comia was the louder one and took charge, which is what your shortstop's supposed to do.
Brings up the top of the order, and Taylor Malvin for Ole Miss. And Malvin rips one to the left side off of Cahalan's mitt. She's aimed at Cahalan all weekend. Now Malvin with back-to-back multi-hit games.
Yeah, especially today. We saw her first at bat go right down the line. The next one a ground out to third. This one a missile off of the glove of Cahalan.
Jaden Pone steps up with 2 hits today. And a quick call of time. Erickson goes out to visit Brown, and the rest of the Gator infield comes in to join them. I don't think we've given enough credit to Ava Brown today. She's been stellar for the Gators.
She absolutely has. She's given up 5 hits, and really the only mistake was not a mistake of her own, but her teammates that has put the 2 runs up on the board for Ole Miss. She's done a great job of pitching to contact, and for the most part, except for that first inning, the defense has done a good job supporting her. But it also helps when you have 6 runs to work with.
It does. Pone swings at it, a little dribbler down the first base line. Ole Miss has 2 aboard. Sometimes it's not about how far it goes.
Well, and that just shows the versatility of Jaden Pone. We've seen her hit for power, we've seen her bunt, here we see her slap to the right side that the Gators are unable to make a play on just because of her speed.
That brings up Lexi Brady, who for Ole Miss is well overdue. 0 for in the series against the Gators. She was 1 for 10 last weekend against South Carolina. Had a multi-home run midweek game earlier this week against UT Martin, the 2nd of her career. She wanted that one 1-1.
Yeah, you can see on that swing, Lexi Brady really pulled her head on that pitch that was up in the zone from Brown.
She talked to us a little bit earlier this week about some adjustments she's made to her mechanics at the plate. She has a much quieter swing, she said, this year. A lot less body movement.
Well, here she's just gotten a steady diet of off-speed pitches from Ava Brown, and she's swinging right through them.
She gave a lot of credit to Erin Earlywine in the fall. She said it was a tough fall for her because of those adjustments she was trying to make to her swing. And
But look what it's done for her. I mean, she just had an amazing senior season so far, looking to get back on track.
Strike, 3 called, and a throw down to third is not in time. Taylor Malvin snuck that foot just underneath the glove of Cahalan. Jaden Pone also moved up to second base.
Yeah, it was a great job swiping the bag. You know, we talked a little bit about the slide that Otis put on. Here, Taylor Malvin slides to the back side of the bag, giving her the advantage and sneaking in under the throw.
I'm kind of surprised Florida didn't want to take another look at that. That slide was close.
Well, honestly, I'm kind of surprised that Florida didn't want to take a look at Jaden Pone's hit, because all indications from Ava Brown, she felt that Pone was out of the box when she made contact.
Stephanie Van Brackle Protho in her first season in Florida, chatting with Ava Brown. Tim Walton pulls his infield in too to chat with them. It's outside his dugout. 2 gone for Ole Miss after Lexi Brady's second strikeout today. 3rd today for Ava Brown. Percy Yamas at the plate, 0 for 2 today. Fielder's choice and a line out to center. And Yamas dribbles the first foul. Yamas is hitting .342 against the SEC this year. Her 16 hits in conference play coming into today led Ole Miss. She was a highly touted freshman coming to Oxford, the 30th best recruit in the nation according to Perfect Game. Also helped her travel team to a PGF 18U Premier National Championship appearance. And this is well foul. 1-2. This is really Ole Miss's first chance to bring in runs, Missy, since the first inning.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a good opportunity for Ole Miss to swipe a couple of bases and get some runners in scoring position for Percy Yamas.
Back to Brown. Throws to first for the 3rd out. And Ole Miss strands 2. Still scored on the RBI single from Shoemaker. She's walked twice today, too. Oh, beg your pardon. This is Riley Holtorf. That's right, because Holtorf was at the plate last inning. And then we had the dead ball.
That's right.
That was called. And Comilla left early. So Holtorf's 0 for 2. 2 ground outs. And now she gives way to Falby.
4-pitch walk there for Binford.
Her 5th walk today. The Ole Miss pitchers just this weekend have not looked as sharp. Miley Wichenio yesterday struggled. Didn't last long against the Gators. Brie Lopez, though, came in out of the bullpen, quieted the Gators offense, allowed just 1 run through 4 innings.
Yeah, she really did. She came in and did a great job. But you see Aaliyah Binford's line, 5 innings pitched, 7 hits, 6 earned runs, 5 walks, and 3 Ks. Those walks and the 2 hit batters are the key for her in the circle so far in this game.
Falby wanted to lay one down. Binford got the win in her last SEC outing. She pitched in Game 2 against South Carolina, threw a complete game, in fact. Allowed just 1 earned run to the Gamecocks, got the win. Walked 6 in that outing, but struck out 4. Another chopper back to Binford. Throw was a tad high. 1 away.
That is the first time in 2 games that Falby has been retired.
That is amazing.
She actually does her job and moves Holtorf up into scoring position at second base.
Jocelyn Erickson, a double and a home run today. In fact, with Riley Holtorf on second base, her and Jocelyn go way back. Erickson out to right center, and it's caught. Holtorf goes back to second base. And Erickson unable to move over her former travel ball teammate from when they were 9 and 10 years old.
Well, Taylor Malvin does a great job. She gets a great jump on that ball and is able to snag it into somewhat shallow right center field.
Shoemaker at the plate, RBI single back in the fourth that gave Florida the 6-2 lead. Now 59 RBIs this year for the freshman, tied for second most in a single season by a freshman at Florida. She has the opportunity to take second place all by herself here with Holtorf in scoring position.
She's really struggled though at the plate this weekend. Ole Miss had her number until her last at bat, where, like you said, she had the RBI scoring single.
Binford looking at her dugout, asking for one of her coaches to come out to see her.
I think she's asking for the trainer to come out.
Checking her hand. Now pitching coach Nancy Evans out to join the conversation.
Well, now the one thing of note that if Aaliyah Binford has to come out of the game because of an injury, then whoever comes in has as much time as need be to get loose.
Yeah, and no one's getting loose for Ole Miss. In fact, we're being told it looks like Miley Bucheño is out in Ole Miss's bullpen. But again, not an ideal situation here for Ole Miss. They're checking the throwing hand of Binford.
Well, it looked like a couple of pitches before that she had reached down and touched the ground, and I don't know if she was reaching down to, because she had felt something in her hand or she was grabbing some dirt, but immediately after that last pitch, she calls for the trainer to come out, and it's been out checking her hand ever since. Almost looks like they're checking the grip strength. I think they'll give her a couple of pitches and see here if she's capable of continuing.
Got that one in there at 69 miles an hour. But you can see her.
Yeah.
Yeah, after every pitch, trying to get.
She's ahead in the count here, and 2 strikes on Shoemaker. So hopefully for Ole Miss's sake that Aaliyah Binford is fine and can continue.
She just needs one pitch to get Taylor Shoemaker out and get Ole Miss off the field. Runner goes. High throw, sails into left. And Holtorf stays at third.
Well, if you look, Angelina De Leon is almost playing shortstop, so she has to rush over to try and make that catch from Lexi Brady.
Yama steps on first for the third out.
Even though they've done it 3 times, they've already put up the runs on the board.
Leah Binford steps up and smashes this into the gap to the right center and gets all the way to the wall. Binford hustles in with the standing double. Rebels need more of that, Missy, especially down to their final 6 outs.
Yeah, absolutely. And Binford, just 1 hit on the weekend, really comes up big. She's hit the ball hard every time up this game, but this one finds the grass and she's able to have a stand-up double.
Binford leads Ole Miss this season with 11 doubles. That's her 48th, 2 of her career. Now it's Mackenzie Pickens at the plate. Pickens looking for her first hit this weekend. Went to Buford High School in Flowery Branch, Georgia. Set her school's career home run and RBIs record. Won back-to-back state titles, including an undefeated 32-0 senior season. And Pickens skies this a mile high to left. Otis makes the catch. She's put it in play, Missy, all weekend. Just hasn't been able to get one to sink down for a base hit yet.
Well, that's pretty much been the story for Ole Miss, honestly. They've struggled. They've hit the ball hard, but it's been right at the Florida defenders. They've had opportunities. They just haven't been able to push those runs across.
Ava Brown has pitched all game, allowing those 2 runs back in the first. They were unearned. She's put together one of her best outings in SEC play here today. McKay with a bloop to left. Drops down in front of Otis. The throw to third is not in time. So runners on the corners for Ole Miss. This part of the lineup's going to have to produce.
Yeah, absolutely. And this ball just floats out there, so Binford has to hold to make sure that Horby Otis doesn't catch that. Makes the play a lot closer at third base than it should have been. But you're right, this is the part of the lineup that has to start getting the job done. Now we're going to see a pinch runner coming in for Ole Miss.
Yeah, it's Taylor Strain, Baylor transfer. Number 2. This is game number 29 for her. Rachel Connors at the plate. Single back in the second. Her 3rd hit of her freshman campaign.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Aaron Earlywine send Strain from first base to give another runner in scoring position for Ole Miss. We'll see if Florida's got a play on.
And Strain's season was ended last year by Florida as well. We talked about Binford pitching against Florida last year. Strain was on that team as well. In fact, Strain thought she was done playing softball after they lost to Florida.
Well, Florida's playing in double play depth, hoping to be able to turn 2 and get out of this inning.
Strain's got a cool story. She had a full-time job. Entered the transfer portal last minute, went to her boss and said, hey, I kind of want to play one more year of softball. And her boss said, go for it.
Hey, that's the kind of boss that you want to have.
Deep fly ball from Connors. Otis makes the catch for out number 2, and Binford tags from third, touches home. So Ole Miss cuts into the deficit. Still a long way to go. Connors' third career RBI.
You want to keep plugging away, but you definitely are running out of time if you're Ole Miss.
So what's Aaron Earlywine going to do here? Another pinch hitter for Ole Miss. For Angelina De Leon, who was pinch hit for back in the 5th inning. Star Ferguson that time, so now it's Addison Duke. So now that takes De Leon out of this game, correct, Missy?
That's right.
And Duke with the chopper left side, it's through. Strains up to second base. 3 hits this inning for Ole Miss, their most in an inning today.
This ball just finds the 5-6 hole. Now we have runners at first and second for Ole Miss. And Taylor Malvin coming up, who has 2 singles on the day. Both singles to the third base area.
Yeah, Cahalan, the third baseman's on high alert with Taylor Malvin at the plate.
Well, I'm not sure if I was Cahalan, I'd be playing that far off of third base, knowing that a lot of the balls have been hit down the line from Malvin today, or at least close to.
You see her in the hot corner at third.
Now, granted, if she makes the play, she can just step on the bag for a force.
This is the first real sign of struggle, too, for Ava Brown in the circle as you see Cahalan.
Well, the first issue since the first inning.
And those 2 runs to start weren't her fault. 3-1. She allowed back-to-back singles to Malvin and Jaden Pone. And then Lexi Brady reached on an error, and because of that error, 2 runs scored. From 3-0 to 3-2. Ole Miss scoring its first run since the first inning here in the 6th. To Cahalan, gloves it, out number 3. Damage limited. Ole Miss scratches one across.
She had been pinch hit for twice, so Davis goes in to play third base.
Otis leads off. Also, Addison Duke is in right field for Jamie McKay.
Good pickup.
Otis is 0 for 2 with a walk today. Off the end of the bat. Easy for Binford.
That was a squibbler. Otis has grounded out to Binford 3 times today.
What have you thought of Binford's outing?
I mean, she had 1 bad inning if you look at it. If you look at the scoreboard, the second inning was a bad inning because of the walks and the hit batters. Other than that,
here's a bunt. Binford takes it herself, and the throw's not in time. Williams beats out the throw. Bunt single. She has 2 hits today.
yeah, just a great bunt. Well, you see Tate Davis playing back, so Binford has a lot of ground to cover to come across to the third baseline to be able to pick up that bunt, throw over to first base. Williams beats it out.
Williams has 5 hits now on the weekend. Gives way to Walsh.
Walsh with 2 strikeouts today. She was one of the hit batters in the second inning that came around to score, and since then, Benford's taken care of her. She struck out looking and struck out swinging.
And Tim Walton pulls her aside down the third base line. The 4-year Florida vet with an opportunity to make things even harder for Ole Miss in the bottom half of the 7th. Florida in the driver's seat, winning last night 8-7. 36-8, 8-5 in SEC play. Ole Miss 1 SEC win away from tying last year's conference win total. A Gators team that after their series loss to Arkansas last weekend dipped from number 2 to number 8 in the ESPN USA Softball Top 25. But in the NFCA Top 25, they slipped from 2nd to 6th.
I think that's more like it. That's an awful big dip when you're facing an SEC foe that's talented as Arkansas.
To go from 2 to 8 is pretty aggressive.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
I mean, we had the opportunity to watch Arkansas here at the beginning of SEC play, and they are definitely not the same team. And that's the reason why they got moved back up to 10.
Florida's RPI is 3, which is incredible, but it's the 3rd highest RPI in the SEC. A&M has the highest. South Carolina is at 2.
Well, you have to talk about the SEC, and it's such a grind week in and week out, playing 3-game series against the top competition in the country.
Ouch. Reagan Walsh on base for a 2nd time today.
2nd time she's been hit by the pitch. Again, the ball just gets away from Benford.
Jamie Traxel is talking to Carlos Guzman.
I think what Coach Traxel might be saying is, and this is a long shot, but look at Walsh's bat. It almost looks like she's taking a swing as the ball's coming in to hit her. You see that?
Oh, yeah.
We have a pinch runner for Walsh. Kylie Shaw.
Shaw, the freshman, Florida native. Smoke back up the middle by Cahalan. Williams around 3rd, comes home. 7-3 Florida. In the driver's seat for her series win in Oxford.
Cahalan struggling yesterday. Believe she was 0 for 2. Today, 3 for 4 with 2 singles and a home run. Getting the RBI for Florida. That was a missile right back up the middle.
Florida has 9 hits, 7 runs. We're going to have a new hitter for Florida. And it's Ava Brown. So the pitcher stepping in with 2 on, 1 out. Hitting for Gabby Comilla in this 8th spot.
Ava Brown trying to help herself here. Put a few more runs up on the board for her Gators and herself, giving her a little bit more cushion out in the circle.
And she does. Shoots this into the gap and all the way to the wall. Shaw is in. Brown's pumped up. Gators up 8-3.
And why wouldn't you be pumped up? You're doing a tremendous job out in the circle. Then you get to hit for yourself, and you come up big with a double, making the score 8-3 Gators.
Brown's 12th RBI of the year, her 14th hit, on top of her stellar outing inside the circle today. And Camilla comes back in to run for Brown as Holtorf pulls back the bunt. Holtorf 0 for 2. She walked her last time up and stole a base. This Gators team is lethal.
Well, I mean, you make a couple substitutions, you look like a genius, especially when they come through for you.
Well, Tim Walton said this time of year is really about the in-game adjustments that you make along the way with each and every game.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's getting towards the end of the season, and you need to try and make things, refine things so that you're firing on all cylinders. You know, they struggled last weekend. They struggled against Florida State with the previous weeks midweek, and, you know, now it's no holds barred.
Holtorf chases it. She will wait for Florida in the 7th. Binford's 4th strikeout today.
Yeah, and a big strikeout. This was definitely needed for Binford. Throws that curveball on the outside part of the plate. Set down Riley Holtorf.
And again, Binford faced Florida twice in the Super Regional in Gainesville last season when she was at Baylor. As Falby takes strike 1. She has 1 hit today. Binford allowed 4 earned runs in 4 innings in the first game of that Super Regional, and then came out of the bullpen in the finale and tossed 4 2/3 against the Gators, struck out 3, walked 6. So no stranger to facing Florida. This time, though, if you're Binford, just in another jersey. And today, Florida's gotten to her for 8 runs, 2 homers today. Opportunity for more with a chopper up the sleeve of Starr. Cahalan's in. 2 runs are in. The throw to second's late. Florida's piling it on here in the 7th.
How about the aggressiveness of Kendra Falby? This ball is chopped into center field, just out of the reach of the diving Ryan Starr. And Malvin, I didn't think really charged the ball hard enough because she saw the runners come through and score. Falby takes advantage of it and slides in safely to second.
A meeting for Ole Miss. They give Falby the double, along with those 2 RBIs. So now Falby with 5 doubles this year, 24 RBIs. And Jocelyn Erickson, who has a double also, and a 2-run home run, steps in. One and one. That was her 12th home run of the year. Now 42 RBIs this season for her coming into this at bat. Golfs it out of the dirt, and it's juggled by Davis. And Falby moved up to third.
Well, Davis just coming into the game for Angelina De Leon sits back on this ball instead of attacking it, and it plays her. Florida's got runners on the corners.
And Taylor Shoemaker steps in. One and 0 count to start. Takes the strike as Erickson moves up to second base. RBI single today, her 59th. As a freshman, second most RBIs by a freshman in Florida history. One and two. Otis is on deck. If she comes up to bat, Florida would have batted around the lineup here in the 7th. A 4 spot for the Gators here in the 7th. Off 4 hits. And another one to the gap, left center. Falby's in, Erickson's in. They can't stop hitting.
Well, we've expected to see it all weekend, and we're finally seeing Shoemaker come through big time with a stand-up double, scoring 2 runs, adding to her season RBI total.
(12-3) Florida on a 6-run 7th inning in Oxford. Things have gotten out of hand.
Yeah, they really have, and it makes you wonder after the trainer comes out and looks at Aaliyah Benford's hand if it doesn't have something to do with it, but obviously she continued into the game. Now we'll see if a change is going to be made or Nancy Evans is just out to talk to her, asking her how she feels, if she thinks she can continue, and then maybe making a few adjustments mechanically.
Missy, Florida has 3 doubles this inning.
I mean, they're hitting it where Ole Miss isn't.
Well, we talk a lot about their home runs, right?
Yeah.
But this time getting it done with doubles.
Yeah, absolutely. They've been gap to gap this inning and just doing a great job of putting the ball in play. And not only putting the ball in play, but hitting the ball solid for those doubles.
Also, Shoemaker now, with 3 RBIs today, has 61 RBIs. We'll double check, but that should be the most by a freshman in Gators history. So Florida's batted around here in the 7th. Otis started this inning with a ground out back to Binford. Otis still looking for her first hit today. All 3 of her putouts have been back to Binford. She has walked. Two and one. A 6 spot for the Gators in the 7th. The wheels have just fallen off.
Yeah, they have just, I mean, this has just been an offensive explosion. Aaliyah Binford had done a good job once she got past the 2nd inning.
Lift off! Otis! Deep left! It's gone! Why not add 2 more? Her 5th homer this season.
Just an offensive explosion, as I was getting ready to say, by Florida in this inning. Here she keeps her hands inside the ball and hits it off the scoreboard. Wow.
8 runs scored in this 7th inning for Florida. Williams now at the plate with 2 singles today. And those in Oxford are stunned at what's just taken place here.
Well, and they're expecting Aaliyah Binford to finish out this inning because there is nobody getting loose in the Ole Miss bullpen.
Well, at this point, save your arms for tomorrow.
Absolutely. I mean, you got to try and salvage the weekend.
Well, I think I asked you at the beginning of this inning, if you're the Gators, you really want to leave no doubt. You really don't want to give Ole Miss a chance. Maybe try to get some runs to extend your lead. I don't think when I asked you that I expected 8 for the Gators here in the 7th, but here we are.
Yeah, absolutely not. But again, it was manageable up until this inning. Ole Miss still had a chance. Now they're digging themselves a hole, and it's a struggle.
To left center, Pone makes the catch. And
Aaliyah Binford did a good job innings 3 through 6, but then the wheels just fell off in the 7th.
Jane Pone's 3 for 3 today. Ole Miss has to climb Mount Everest in this bottom half of the 7th with just 3 outs. And Pone fouls it off. Also for Florida, it's now their 5th straight game with 2 home runs or more in a contest. They've hit 3 today. They've hit 3 or more home runs, missing 3 of the last 5.
And that is really impressive. But I think what's more impressive for me, especially in that 7th inning, is the fact that it was more so gap to gap, which is what kept the inning alive for Florida. I mean, you know, home runs are great, but they can also be rally killers because then you don't have people on base to keep scoring. And when you're gap to gap or you're singles and you're stringing hits along, there's more of an opportunity to score more runs.
That was Jane Pone's 4th hit today, a perfect 4 for 4. Lexi Brady's at the plate.
Lexi Brady, last at bat, struck out looking. The previous at bat, she struck out swinging. She has to get back on track for Ole Miss to be successful offensively. She has been the catalyst in this lineup for Ole Miss. We went into the weekend talking about how she was one of the hottest hitters in the SEC, and Florida's kind of tamed that. She needs to get back on track to help out her Rebel offense.
Three and 2 to Brady as Ava Brown goes for the complete game today. Going for her 4th complete game this year. And she walks Lexi Brady. So 2 on for Ole Miss. Just a second walk this afternoon, 2 for Brown. That brings up Percy Yamas. Hitless today. She has reached on a fielder's choice. And Yamas lines it foul. Chopper to second. Side flip to second for 1. First for 2. Doesn't get any better than that. Poe moves up to third.
We have a pinch hitter here for Ole Miss. Grace Thompson is going to hit for Aaliyah Benford.
Jamie Traxel giving her sophomore a chance. One and one. Ava Brown with 110 pitches today. She's only allowed 3 runs, 1 earned back in the 6th. Going for the complete game as Thompson fouls it off.
She's really been stellar for Florida today out in the circle. Just gotta give a little bit of credit to Ole Miss. They've hit the ball hard. It's just been right at the Gators, and you know that's what we expected to see.
Foul tip, hung on by Erickson. Ball game. Florida takes 10